Tonight on CTV, CSU has a new football head coach. Find out how he feels about replacing Steve Addazio and learn how a party at Braiden Hall went too far.
Later in the show, Fort Collins is celebrating Hanukkah and see how the beloved CSU mascot spends his day.
All that and more on CTV starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Ren Wadsworth.
And I'm Robbie Patla. Thank you for joining us on our final show of 2021.
CSU's new head coach spoke today at CSU for the first time. Brandon has more.
Thanks, Ren. As you heard yesterday, former Nevada head coach Jay Norvell has been anointed to the same role here in Fort Collins for Rams football, filling the recent vacancy that the firing of Steve Addazio on Thursday left behind. And while CSU Athletics made this move official via social media yesterday, Norvell was yet to arrive to his new home. That was until today, where the 58-year-old was sworn in as the 24th lead man in program history at an introductory press conference. Within his opening statements, Norvell talked about everything from how the hire came to be to his vision for the Rams program moving forward. And this quote talking about what he wants for his quarterback, a position where CSU has really struggled as of late, was a must listen. Take a look.
What we look for in a quarterback is number one, intelligence. Number two is accuracy. And I just think it's the worst feeling in the world where you're a fan and you go to a stadium and you know your quarterback came through. What's the worst feeling in the world? It's terrible. Okay, so we'll work hard not to have that happen. Okay, but the third thing is passion for that quarterback, and so that's important.
Unlike the Addazio hire, it's nice to have some excitement buzzing around this team for once. I'm definitely into the emphasis on the signal caller by Norvell, but at the end of the day, we'll just have to see how the former Nevada headman's tenure turns out. You can see the new head coach's full thoughts on our YouTube channel. Back to you, Ren.
Thanks, Brandon. The city of Fort Collins and CSU finally came to an agreement on the sale of the former HUGHES property. In an executive session on Friday, members of the city and the school discussed terms and conditions for the over 160-acre property. Initially announced back in August, the deal was supposed to be for affordable housing. That is no longer the case as the school approved the sale for $12.5 million. The city has multiple possibilities for the land, like natural areas, recreation, and returning the land to indigenous people. The city staff also plans to hire a third-party consultant to oversee how the land will be used. What to do with the space at HUGHES will be a long discussion. Meanwhile, some Fort Collins residents are just looking for a place to stay the night.
Natalie Devereaux has more about the homeless population and how they face winter temperatures. Natalie?
Thanks, Robbie. Over 300 people in Fort Collins are currently experiencing homelessness, with 25% of that population being continuously unhoused. Organizations like the Rescue Mission are doing all they can to provide shelter, especially during the winter months.
Reports show that close to half of the winter nights in Fort Collins reach freezing temperatures, with the average being just 19 degrees.
So it is a life and death thing that we have enough capacity for shelter.
In an effort to get people off the streets and into a warm space, the Rescue Mission, with help from the city, has opened a seasonal shelter on Mountain Avenue.
After exhausting many other options, we turned to city locations.
It simply is a conference room. It's a mid-sized room with bunk beds.
The overflow space has a total of 40 beds, while the mission has 102.
The skills that they have and the resilience that they have is really impressive.
Cold temperatures are not the only hardship the Rescue Mission and city are addressing.
So many systems are tied in to people becoming or staying unhoused.
I don't think we realize the toll it takes on a human to constantly navigate the stigma that they walk around with.
The homeless crisis has many complex layers that need to be addressed at every level.
I'm homeless. It sucks. Society does not care. I'm ashamed of my country.
There's no part of our community that is exempt from being a part of the solution for those who have absolutely nothing.
Besides the basic necessities, what this vulnerable population needs most of all is compassion.
And actually sees the faces of our men or their hands and the life of their hands. People have a reaction to having another human being in front of them.
Every year there's a scramble to find a winter overflow space. Both the city and rescue mission hope that one day there'll be a designated building to meet capacity needs.
This is the city to building one of these facilities.
As of now, that is looking like it is years away, but staff is working hard to make people as comfortable as possible. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Natalie. 4 men in Larimer County were arrested yesterday evening after a sting operation targeting child predators, 2 of which are from Fort Collins. The operation was to arrest individuals who were attempting to lure children for sexual acts. Of the 4 men arrested, 2 have bonded out by Monday. The other 2 remain in Larimer County Jail.
Now on to an issue plaguing CSU students. Live reporter Lee Medley has the story.
Thanks, Ren. It's one of the worst crimes in the world, and now it's rising at Colorado State University. Domestic violence has spiked dramatically on CSU's campus compared to years past. As you can see, in 2019, these numbers were fairly low, but as of 2020, the numbers of relationship violence have skyrocketed. These statistics come from the Cleary report that was released just last week. While the overall crime rate at Colorado State University has gone down by 20%, domestic violence has increased by almost 60%. However, Assistant Director of Victim Services at the Women and Gender Advocacy Center, Casey Malsom, prefers the term relationship violence.
We in the office will use the term relationship violence because it encompasses both dating and domestic violence. Relationship violence is when there's an issue of power and control within a relationship where one person is wanting to have power and control over the other person. It's a pattern of behavior that happens over time, and it can be through a number of different means. So it could be physical, it could be emotional, psychological, financial.
1 out of every 5 college students in the United States have reported an incident of relationship violence. So why are these numbers rising? The answer has to do with the pandemic.
When we thought about COVID, when we were in quarantine and lockdown, you were living in your home, you were working in your home, you were schooling in your home. And so if you have folks who are living together, who have any sort of violence in a relationship, whether it's physical or emotional, the more time that you're around that person, the less time you have to get away.
If you or anyone you know has been affected by relationship violence, you can call CSU's Victim Assistant Hotline at 970-829-4242. Back to you, Robbie.
A party at Braden Hall took a turn for the worst on Friday evening. Multiple noise complaints were reported and the fire alarm went off due to smoke being blown into the detector, forcing the entire building to evacuate. Later that night, a resident had to be taken to the hospital due to alcohol poisoning, and another was arrested for underage drinking and failure to comply with an officer. One Braden resident says these acts have only gotten worse as the semester has progressed.
When the fire alarm went off, it kind of didn't faze people because it happens so often. I don't know, there's just been disruptive stuff going on like that over the past semester. It's gradually gotten worse or worse.
The resident wished to stay anonymous, however, they hope that more action will be enforced as students return for the spring semester.
Truck crashed into a record store late Sunday night. The vehicle went through the southeast corner of Bazaar Books and Music. According to the shop, the red pickup spun out of control after the driver had fallen asleep behind the wheel. No one inside the establishment or the vehicle were injured in the accident. A day after the collision occurred, staff quickly cleaned up the inside to make it accessible to customers. A restoration team is currently working to return Bazaar to normal.
Don't go anywhere, Rams, because Cameron Evick is up next after the break to let us know when we'll finally expect snow.
Queen is just my everything. Right now, I wouldn't know where my life would be without her.
They say chivalry's dead. It's not. Terrence is a gentleman. He opens doors. His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. It takes me to a place of no hope. It takes me to a place of loneliness. It saddens me. When you discriminate against somebody in housing, where do these people go? Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
What's up, Rams? My name's Cameron Evig, filling in for Michelle for Tuesday's weather. We're about to break a record here in Colorado for the most amount of days without snow. The last time we saw this record was in 1888. This is the last year that this is the year when Jack the Ripper's first victim was found. As we can see, today it has been 230 consecutive days without snow. We saw that in 1887 as well as 1888. But although we're not getting snow right now, it is still chilly as we see the current conditions outside right now. Currently 35 degrees out there with a 1% chance of rain tonight. Sunset was at 4:33 p.m. and there is some wind northwest going about 5 miles per hour. So a little bit chilly outside right now. As we saw throughout the day though, a very nice day to begin with as it gradually got colder throughout. For the last few weeks we have really been feeling the weather and it has been cold, but they may not be here for much longer. A strong cold front is moving its way into Colorado in the next few days, bringing cold weather and snow with it. We will feel that cold front on Thursday as those temperatures fall. But those aren't the only things falling, as we have a potential snowfall as well. If you're going out on Thursday, you might want to consider bringing a jacket as it could snow and it's going to be very, very chilly. But for tomorrow's lows, as we see all across Colorado, we got 25, 32, 29, and 23 down the corridor. Eastern side, Sterling at 19, down at 18 in Lamar. As we go to this western side, Alamosa at a very chilly 9 degrees. Telluride at 19, looking at 27 in Grand Junction. Now we get into tomorrow's highs, see if it can potentially stay warm as we see in the eastern portion. We got Burlington at 58, Lamar down there at 63. Down the corridor, Fort Collins at 53, Pueblo at 61. Vail going to be at 41 degrees as well. Down in Telluride, high of 32, so they're not getting past freezing tomorrow. And Grand Junction over there at 44. Moving on to our tomorrow's forecast, we got a partly cloudy forecast with a high of 53 degrees and a low of 33. It's going to be partly cloudy. The sunset's going to be about 4:33 p.m. Is a chance of rain at about 3%. And there's going to be some wind about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Nothing too crazy. Tomorrow should be a nice day with some chance of some cooler temperatures. But now going into our 5-day forecast, as we see tomorrow, as I said, 54 degrees with a 32 low. Chance of rain. You got Tuesday, a chance of rain and snow. Thursday, with a chance of rain and snow at a high of 51 and a low of 24. 40% for rain and 80% for snow. Looking at Friday as well, another chance for our first snowfall in a very long time. 32 degrees is the high with a 12 degree low. Saturday, 36 and 21, with Sunday going to be at 51 and 27. So hopefully we do not break that streak, or we do break that streak, and we finally get some snow here in Fort Collins. That's all I got for you for weather today. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
CUSU is working on an explosive project with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The project uses virtual reality to show the damage of explosives and projectiles on civilian buildings. Associate Professor Hussam Mahmoud was given $4.5 million to use machine learning to create this project. For the next 5 years, Mahmoud, along with mechanical engineering PhD student Kellen Sullivan, will use data collected from the Army to complete the project. Mahmoud hopes the research his team conducts will help protect civilians all over the world.
Colorado State University shattered records for research expenditures this past year. Nearly $500 million was spent to study climate change, COVID-19, fire mitigation, and a number of other topics. Total expenses grew by roughly 10% over the 2020-21 fiscal year. Funds for projects come from industries, nonprofits, and the state government. Findings from the investigations are then dispersed across the globe for further research. Colorado State University continues to advance knowledge and find solutions to big problems that not only affect the CSU community, but also the entire world.
Rams, I hate to say it, but finals week is upon us. This is arguably the most stressful time of the semester, and it has to be at the end? Luckily, you are not alone if you are stressing out, but maybe your fellow Rams can help. Students of CSU are frantically preparing for the final exams of the semester.
I am feeling very nervous about it, honestly. I don't want to fail any of my classes.
It's definitely a lot for, engineering majors, especially because there's just so many things to do and so many classes to prepare for.
Finals is obviously a stressful time for the students of CSU, but what's it like for the TAs and the instructors? JTC instructor Jessie Grace says the stress of her students fuel how the classroom flows.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because we really feed off the energy of our students, and when students feel checked out, we're like, oh no, we need to generate more of our own energy.
Second-year PhD student Channing Bice has been a teaching assistant for almost 4 years, and she has a plan to alleviate stress for her students.
I'm really trying to personally approach it as an instructor and as a student with more compassion toward my students, because it's been rough.
As a last stroke of luck, students and instructors alike have advice that their fellow Rams may like to hear.
I would say, as hard as it is, do your best to bring energy to the classroom.
Finish as strong as you can, but also, take care of yourself and have compassion for how far you've come, because these were unusual circumstances still.
Studying is important, but also getting sleep and nutrition.
Don't worry about it too much, as there's, more to life than just finals.
One more week, Rams, and then it's winter break. Then it's straight up to cuddling up by the fire, eating holiday treats. I know I, for one, cannot wait.
Over the past semester, we've taken a look at employees at Colorado State University and the work they do. However, the life of one famous CSU staff member may be news to many Rams. Cam the Ram is a familiar name and face around CSU, but how does the GOAT himself prepare for game days and interactions with students?
He had to learn how to get in a trailer. He had to learn how to walk on leads. He has to learn how to pose for pictures and stay, so he knows a stay cue. There's a lot of pieces of the training that then also have to get layered into all of the stimuli that are happening at a game.
While this Cam may be fairly new to the school at only 2 years old, he works hard with Ram handlers and Professor Willis to earn his keep.
So he's working to obtain usually hay and oftentimes scratches and pieces of lettuce at events.
Some may call Cam CSU's mascot, but Professor Willis believes that this title is unfitting and is working hard to change the narrative around it.
Cam has opportunities, and if he chooses not to take them, we pause and we wait, and we evaluate the situation, make sure he feels safe, and then offer him the opportunity to participate again. And so it's really a choice that he has, and that's a big shift in how animal mascot programs go around the country and into an animal ambassador program.
Throughout the school year and the summer, Cam and the Ram handlers are continually striving to be the best possible ambassadors at Colorado State University. After years of work and dedication to the university, it's easy to say that Cam the Ram may be one of the most influential employees at Colorado State, and the school wouldn't be the same without our four-legged ambassador. I don't know about anyone else, but I get so excited whenever I get to see Cam the Ram because, well, look at him, he's so cute.
Everyone has seen him in person. I never have, so it makes me wonder if he's actually real.
I can assure you, Robbie, he's real.
Oh, well, I'll believe that when I see it. Well, Rams, that is all the time we have for you tonight, but don't go anywhere because Brandon Cruz is up next for your CSU Sports Rundown.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down.
It doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
Oh, gee.
You all right, girl?
Oh, you cool?
You bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them.
Go on, Kelly. Susie Awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Good evening, Rams. Welcome to the final edition of Bleacher Beat before the end of the semester. I'm your host, Brandon Cruz, here to give you a preview of the NCAA Volleyball Tournament Sweet 16, as well as some of the intriguing games over winter break for CSU men's basketball. All of that and more on Bleacher Beat, which starts right now. Let's begin tonight with a subject that I don't think gets enough attention. College volleyball is in prime postseason form with all but 2 of the top 16 seeds surviving the first weekend of action. Kansas knocked off 14th ranked Creighton, while Illinois eliminated any chance of a repeat for 7th ranked and defending national champion Kentucky. As they move on to the next round, the Jayhawks and Fighting Illini will look to continue their upset spree in their quarterfinal bouts against powerhouses Pittsburgh and Nebraska, respectively. 6-seed Purdue needed 5 sets to get past Dayton, and so did 13th-ranked UCLA when they battled UCF. Besides these highlights, though, the remaining schools cakewalked rather easily in their second-round matchups. And now moving on to some hoops talk. Following volleyball's championship on December 18th, Ram fans will have more relatable events to look forward to. Both men's and women's hoops have plenty of games on the horizon, including the conference half of the schedule, of course. But there's one game in particular over the break that you should start on your calendar during the holidays. And what might this matchup be? None other than the Rams take on Bama on December 21st. In this marquee matchup, it's easy to see that the men might have their most daunting task all season, playing in a packed atmosphere in Tuscaloosa just 4 days before Christmas. Not to mention against an Alabama team that's currently ranked 9th in the nation. And, okay, the Crimson Tide had a slip up in late November, losing to Iona. No, not Iowa, Iona. I know, yikes. But since then, they rebounded quite emphatically with a statement win over third-ranked Gonzaga, as you saw just there. Wow, it's not just the football team at Alabama that the Tide excel in. Head coach Nate Oates has done a tremendous job revamping this program, making it serious contenders to win the SEC for the 2nd straight year. Yep, this will be a tough one for CSU, and it might even be a wake-up call. Look, I'll be cheering for Coach Medved's group just as much as you, but I am tired of hearing my fellow Rams and anchors here at CTV Sports whining and complaining about how CSU isn't ranked in the AP Top 25. So far, CSU's schedule has been so bad. Get this, out of the 358 total Division I basketball teams, the Rams' strength of schedule ranks 340th. So forgive me for not thinking a 20-point win over Pizza Hut is not that impressive of a win. Now, don't worry, the Rams will get their shot at proving me wrong. But please, can we just hit the brakes on men's basketball ever so slightly, at least for now? And regardless of how hoops continues to perform, soccer, football, and volleyball have all concluded, meaning winter sports are just gaining steam. Well, Ram fans, that's all the sports action I have for you tonight and for the rest of the semester. It's been so much fun, and I can't thank you enough for tuning in every Tuesday to get caught up on your local and nationwide athletic news. Be sure to catch Cam's Corner on Thursday, he was just here for weather, and stay tuned for entertainment with Noah Pasley right after the break.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hello Rams, we're really in the home stretch now, and I hope everyone has a strong finish before we leave for winter break. Thank you once again for the last time for tuning in to Tuesday Night Entertainment here at CTV. As usual, I'm your host, Noah Pasley. Last week, we showed you a little bit about the annual lighting of the menorah hosted on the plaza at CSU, but now it's time for a closer look at an even older Hanukkah tradition, a menorah lighting celebration held in Old Town Square. The tradition, which has been around for 16 years, returned to Town Square Sunday night as the community rallied together to celebrate the holiday. The event, which is the largest lighting event in northern Colorado, even hosted Congressmember Joe Neguse and Mayor Jenny Arndt, and it included hot latkes as well as a shower of chocolate coins from Poudre Fire Authority to bring a little light to those in need.
So if you're struggling and you're feeling overwhelmed, just remind yourself that the power of light is such that a small amount of light can dispel a lot of darkness. And I hope that's a message that resonates with you, each and every one of us in these somewhat difficult times that we're going through.
I am so excited for the holiday season. But if the holidays aren't your thing, there's also this exciting opportunity from the Bohemian Foundation for local music lovers coming on Thursday. Sonic Spotlight, a local musical competition, is celebrating its second year with a final showcase at Washington's this Thursday. Its first ever in-person event after the pandemic drove the project online only in 2020.
The one thing that's been a silver lining, I guess, about the strange 2 years we've had is that there's so much good to be done. We stopped playing shows for the year because of the pandemic and everything, and it frees up other opportunities to do these things that we still care about. And this is a really, it's near and dear to my heart. This music scene is very collaborative, cooperative, supportive.
But of course, the project is also providing the opportunity for local emerging artists to finally get their chance on the stage.
Yeah, it's given me the chance to perform at Washington's, which is an amazing venue locally, and yeah, I've grown up in Fort Collins, so I think it's just a really good chance for me to perform in front of the people that I know and love and grew up with. I'm just so ready to kind of face this challenge and this new step. It's one of my philosophies that just, kind of jumping into new experiences, even if you're, a little unsure of it, you can learn the most out of it.
But perhaps more importantly, Sonic Spotlight sets the stage for the next generation of artists.
It's an awesome opportunity to be able to pass that on, to really pay this forward to the next generation of artists coming through, because we do have such a great scene here, and there's so much infrastructure already that it's you can get these next generation kids and musicians and artists in and say, check it out, you're in the right place.
You can find tickets for the Sonic Spotlight online at Washington's website, and to learn more about the finalists, check out my article on the Collegian coming later this week. Well, Fort Collins, that is all I have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the last episode of CTV Geeks, and once again, thank you for spending this semester with us here at CTV. We'll see you next year. Take care, Rams.